Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Verena Hardman. This is my husband, Ken Hardman. We have been married for 40 years. We have 4 grown children and 3 grandchildren. We have published a book, A Better Way to Marry, a family approach to lasting love for generations. It is the result of our more than 20 years studying the best evidence-based research we could find in the social sciences about about individual, family, and marriage development. We would like to briefly share with you some ideas from that research, ideas that have guided us as we partnered with our daughters to form their marriages with their then future husbands. Marriages which are healthy and happy.
Indeed, the research revealed that if one desires to live a healthier and more fulfilling life, then many paradigm shifts are needed in the way that one thinks about life, love, marriage, parenting, family, self-reliance, and even wealth. We integrated these paradigm shifts into our family approach to form a marriage, which is a safer, smarter, a better way to marry. We condensed this research into 3 big ideas. And from these big ideas, we created 3 benchmarks to evaluate marriage readiness. And with these benchmarks, we then created a 7-step decision-making process to evaluate the potential mates, young men that were possible. And it proved to be safe and smart and a better way.
These are not abstract ideas, they are very practical. Anyone seeking a safer, smarter, and reliable basis for choosing a lifelong partner and forming a healthy marriage can use these ideas and tools.
Well, 20 years ago, when our teenagers were approaching adulthood, we were keenly aware of our responsibilities to guide them to fulfill their future roles as adult. And choosing a mate and forming a marriage is a critical part of becoming an adult. Although we had studied parent education to help us with our young children and teenagers,
We could find little education to help parents prepare and guide their adult children into a healthy marriage. And especially when exploring the possibilities of marriage discussions with the parents of a potential mate. In fact, we live in a Western culture that discourages parents from believing that they should or could be involved in the formation of their children's marriages.
indeed, as parents, we're in competition with the loud voices from the larger Western popular culture. Those voices come from the entertainment industry, music, videos, movies, social media, and especially their friends in schools. And young people are encouraged, were then and are today, to believe in the fantasies about falling in love and dating. And dating is actually a minefield of dishonesty where people get hurt emotionally and physically. So dating is not a reliable way to choose a lifelong mate. So no wonder Americans and Europeans have a very high divorce rate of between 40 to 50%, and who also live in a culture of loneliness.
Mhm. We mentioned paradigm shifts. Here are some examples: a shift from falling in love to growing in love, from love sickness to love fitness, a shift from unrealistic to realistic expectations about marriage, and from independent marriages and families to interdependent marriages and families.
That's right. You know, parents should and can fulfill the responsibilities to guide their children into adulthood and to form their marriages. Good parents know more than they think they do. They just need some extra knowledge, some extra tools, and a good process to follow. And that's what our book intends to do.
It is to the great benefit of single adults to partner with their parents to form their marriages. It can serve as a knowledge base and model when guiding their future children into a healthy, happy marriage. You can be better together. We condensed our research and experiences into 3 big ideas. Here they are. One, think long term in terms of generations and kinship building. Two, be prepared for marriage. And three, use a safe and smart marriage formation process. Big idea number one. Thinking in terms of generation is not a new idea, but necessary. Kinship building, the development of trust, cooperation, and teamwork with family members is needed. Marriage is not just between a man and a woman, it is between two families. They are like a link in the chain of families. The link is broken through divorce and deeply impacts all their family members.
Big idea number one is also a strategic goal for estate planning, wealth preservation, and risk management. It stretches one's thinking to realize that wealth is not just material wealth like real estate and stocks and bonds, but it's also human wealth, the wisdom and traditions of a family that enable them to form healthy marriages, parent-child relationships, and also joint decision-making and support during good times and bad times, so that the family members will not only survive, but they'll also thrive.
Mhm. The second big idea is that single adults should be ready for marriage. Sounds simple, doesn't it? If you are single, has anyone asked you whether you are ready for marriage and why? Or if you're a parent, has anyone asked you whether your son or daughter is ready for marriage and why?
How do you know? It's not an easy question to answer. If you desire, though, to form a healthy, happy marriage that lasts a lifetime, you need some basic entry-level abilities to form and develop a healthy marriage. We call them benchmarks, and the three benchmarks that stand out are: one, to fulfill unconditional commitments; two, to develop emotional and spiritual connection, which generally refers to intimacy, but it's much more than that; and three, to collaborate creatively and interdependently, which is like being a good team player.
They are interrelated. They are like a basic job description for an emotionally, mentally, and spiritually healthy husband or wife. Since choosing a lifelong mate is about predicting their future behavior after they marry and considering that a person's pattern of thoughts are likely to determine their behavior, a way is needed to identify a person's pattern of thoughts. There is a way. We have provided more than 200 indicator questions that you can choose from. The answers can imply virtues like empathy, resilience, and self control. Those virtues could, in turn, support satisfying the second benchmark, a person's potential to develop emotional and spiritual connection in marriage. These questions also stimulate self discovery.
Big idea number three. It's one thing to know the benchmarks and indicators so you can use to evaluate a person's preparedness for marriage and compatibility. But the bigger challenge, though, is to acquire sufficient information from a potential mate that honestly discloses who or she is. Today, when people date, what a person says and what they actually think and do can be very different, especially from online dating website profiles.
Mhm. Exploring whether someone could be your potential mate can be emotional, since one's feelings can be hurt in different ways. One could fear being rejected, being judged as not good enough, or fear marrying the wrong person and getting divorced. Also, you may think that you are ready for marriage and have a clear idea of your ideal spouse, but later you realize that you're still confused about both.
It's true. Research shows that most people, even very smart people, they do very poorly when it comes to predicting how they will feel in future events, like marrying their dream spouse. Why is that? They have unrealistic expectations. Certain things are overemphasized, like physical appearance, and other things are underemphasized or disregarded, like personality disorders. Your initial feelings about a person can be wrong. People rush to say yes and they rush to say no, and disregard someone who might be a great match and a wonderful future spouse for them. A meaningful choice requires full disclosure and patience.
Therefore, your marriage formation process must be designed to be safe and guide all parties through steps of meaningful discovery and verification. That means self-discovery and mutual discovery. Do not expect the process to be quick or easy. Our book guides you through a 7-step decision-making process that can enable a meaningful decision to marry. It recognizes that slower is better because time is needed to genuinely discover whether someone is ready for marriage, compatible, or complementary. Surprises and contradictions can surface.
Yeah, love is the most powerful force in the universe. It's more than a poetic truth. In human beings, it's an emotional impulse that seeks a relationship. It's a desire for connection with people and things. And depending upon the purpose of that desire, its motivation, and to whom you feel attracted to it, love can be creative or very destructive. Our desires and passions for relationship, for connection, must be managed. The ability to manage your desires, your impulses, and also your attractions is an important discipline of a healthy adult. Likewise, as spiritual discipline is required to maintain a healthy marriage, to choose a marriage partner for life also is a spiritual discipline.
Consider what could happen if you and another person whom you are considering as a lifelong partner do not exercise the spiritual discipline to screen out unrealistic expectations, do not manage your emotions, or do not honestly disclose all material facts that impact the decision to marry. The purpose of these 7 decision-making steps and guidelines is to enable safety, mutual respect, meaningful discovery, and informed decisions. Are such steps worth the effort? Does a thoughtful, systematic approach seem too businesslike and not romantic enough? Consider how unromantic are the feelings of having your heart broken, being divorced and depressed. If it is you or your son or daughter who is seeking a lifelong mate, ask yourself whether it is worth the effort.
Our hope is that A Better Way to Marry can contribute to elevating the position of parents as wisdom givers for marriage. We also hope that the insights provided in A Better Way to Marry will enable single adults to marry wisely and marry well, and to form a good model with their parents for future generations.
Thank you for listening and sharing your time with us. May you and your families be blessed with generations of healthy, happy marriages and families.